Hello guys, welcome back to the crew Waltron. Driving all cars, part number 40, no, a bit ahead of time here. Part number 32, that's what I wanted to say. The Chevrolet Impala Sport Sedan 1967. That's what we are looking here, if I can extend the screen a bit. The full stock, original colors, nothing special about it. It is a big, white, long, heavy car, and yeah, it has a pretty decent sound. It comes with a street performance and circuit spec. So three specs we have to test here. Now, don't shoot me for this color. This is an official color. I'm using official colors and rims as mentioned in many videos already. And this was one of them. It's sort of a blue greenish, I don't know what color it is, but I put a little spoiler on there. Different bumpers, different rims, different mirrors even, I think, compared to the full stock, although I'm not 100% sure. The performance spec looks a bit, yep, more sportive. I got 4 exhaust pipes coming on the side there. I also got some pipes coming from the hood, from the engine. Sporty blue color, which I kinda like. 2 big pipes or exhausts at the end. Also here a bit different bumper. Kinda like the look of this car compared to the street or the full stock. But also this one is, well, it has something. Visually. Circuit spec sorta comes with all bits and bumps, few spoilers, diffuser, a big wing. Also here official color and rims. Usually in the circuit specs there's not much you can change except for the color and the rims. Sometimes you can mess about with the wing or something, but that's not with all brands the case. So let's take it out for a spin. Yeah, this one you already see it. It is, there is a bit of a, I am not 100% sure, a bit of a problem with the numbers here, I think. According to this short, what I was looking at wrong, I've just noticed now, 1000 kilograms, that can't be correct. It weighs about, I checked it later again on the chart, it weighs about 1400 kilos, which is a bit heavy. And it is also pretty long, and then, yeah, then you get these kind of things. A bit of body roll, slow response, oversteer. The typical American way of gaming, I guess. I don't know. It's. I don't have anything against American cars in real life, but in games, they are good for well, like here. Cruising around on the strip in Las Vegas, doing a drag race, doing acceleration from one traffic light to another, not a problem. They have lots of power, most of the American cars do. Big engines, not an issue. The issue occurs when there are corners involved. Once you need to get to a standstill, because that's the other problem, usually the brakes are not that good. And yeah, that's a bit of a problem. The steering radius is kind of big, and then you have to take wide corners, and it all goes a bit slow. And of course we are watching or looking at the full stock here. A bit more power will go, and eventually you will get it going, and then you have to blow the horn so that traffic goes out of your way. Because once you have it going, you better keep it going, because the brakes are not that good. So it's kind of hard to come to a standstill, and the acceleration, yeah, usually also a problem because of the weight. If you have to do a free drive challenge with this car, full stock, it's doing, what are we doing here, 205, 208 I saw a bit earlier. Just like now we are driving to the Bonneville Salt Flat, and eventually we will get there. Spare with me here for a few seconds, because yeah, it is what it is. I'm not sure by the sound of it, V8 in it, but I'm not aware of all those engines, especially not from the older Americans. Or at least it sounds like some big heavy engine, but might not be. Maybe it's only a V6, but I don't think so. Probably will be a V8 or maybe even a V10, who knows. Which should give it, well, since it has quite some power, should give it a bit decent acceleration, but that's what always surprises me. They have so much horsepower and well, yeah, they don't have the traction to put it on the road or something like that. I don't know, but some of them are pretty good organized, and then you get a decent acceleration time. But I'm not expecting it with this thing. But we'll see. Fastest time here. Let's see. The first one we are going to take out is the street spec, and we have a 25.7 from the Skyline, which kind of smoked all the others. The second best is like 6 tenths behind that, 26.3. We have quite few low 26 cars, 26 seconds that is, and a few also Americans, Eldorado, Camaro, Focus surprisingly have 27 seconds. The Abarth at 26.3, which is a pretty small car. The MX-5 26.970, which is also a pretty small lightweight car. So I'm a bit the reason I named that MX-5 with a 26.970 is because as you will see with the street spec, this thing will do exactly the same. So I'm kinda in doubt if is this a bad acceleration time or is it a good one. It's 1 second slower than a Skyline, which is kinda considered to be one of the best, if not the best street spec in this game. But yeah, for a big car, wide car, long car, heavyweight, if you compare it to an Abarth and an MX-5, and it's kinda doing the same time. It's slower than the Abarth, about 6 tenths, but it has exactly the same time as an MX-5. 26.970. But we know that the MX-5 has an acceleration problem, especially in street spec, so I don't know. 26.970, what else to compare? The 370Z has a 26.9. Mustang 2011 26.7. So although it's pretty heavy, I don't know. I guess you have to compare it with the faster ones, and then this is a slow time. But if you consider weight and all that, it's a pretty decent time. The MX-5, which is like half a time as wide and as long compared to the MX-5, then the Impala has a pretty good time. Moving to performance spec. Fastest time here, still the Aston Martin Vanquish with a time of 22.8, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. And then a lot of 23 seconds and 24 seconds in performance. See where this one ends up. Corvette C7 does 24.3. ZR1 does 24.5, which is slower. 24.1, which is compared to a lot of specs that we've tested here and that are also still to come, it's a slow time. But if you compare it to something newer like Corvette C7, it is faster. The Corvette ZR1, it is faster. But if you're going to compare with the old style Corvettes, the C2 and the C3, then it is about a second slower. So also here, performance spec, acceleration, weight is a problem, giving a average time. Then we move to the circuit spec. Let's take a look what that one says. Fastest time here, 22.8 by the 370Z and the Z4, 22.0 by the BMW bike. and all the rest is 23 seconds or a 24.1 being the slowest with the Camaro 69. 23.2. It's a pretty fast time. So in the circuit spec the acceleration is sort of a plus. I might give that as a plus with a bit of between brackets circuit spec, because the other ones are not that good in acceleration, but the circuit is pretty good. A low 23 is a good time for circuit spec on the mile here. But now we come to the biggest problem of all, I guess. We have to throw it around over our little test track. Wide, long, heavy, that cannot be a good thing. And usually the brakes are a problem in things like this, in the mostly, well, not only in the Americans, but mostly in the American cars. Brakes not that good, and sort of what I call boat handling. So what does that mean? The brakes not that good, you're gonna get some understeer in some corners, you're gonna get some oversteer in other corners, and that's all a bit due to the weight. And so it kinda handles like a boat. The response, can't call that good, can we? A bit slow, and you're gonna get the big movements, so you can't really snappily kind of dodge traffic or something. That's not going to, you have to anticipate. You see a car, you have to stay away from that thing because, and as you can already see here, the brakes not that good. I barely made that corner, and we've been over this track several times. It's not like I don't know the track, so yeah. Here, understeer, oversteer, eventually we hit the barrier, which reminds me that this car has wall riding capacities. As you can see, I am wall riding here and the speed goes up. You do not lose time. It's one of those cars that has the potential to wall ride, which make consider it for something like a speed trap. With speed trap with sharper corners, yep, this might be the thing to go, because speed it probably has. We will see on the downhill section at the end. But yeah, it has a boat handling, so you're probably going to end up in the barriers anyway if you want to take fast corners. But if you can wall ride with it, then you don't lose speed compared to sliding through the corner where you are going to lose speed. So you're not gonna win time attacks with this thing, but you might, I don't know, we'll see. We'll see at the end what the top speed of this thing is. Wall bumps, it's not that good, as you can see. Then the weight comes into this game thing, and yeah. Not wall bumping, but we can wall ride. We have tested that in the beginning there. Although there are better cars though. Probably the best wall riding car here, and I will hope I can remind myself and that when I'm recording the video with that car, it's probably the performance spec Ford Raptor. Might give it a go with one of the next videos where I test the Silverado. Seeing that's also a pickup, might also work. Top speed wise, yeah. It's not that superb either. But I'm guessing it's one of those cars, if you have enough time and a long straight, it might get pretty decent top speed. But the acceleration is a problem though. I hit that fence there, lose quite some speed, and then you need to get back to speed by acceleration, and it's not going anywhere. Eventually you will get there, but again, it's one of those cars where you cruise around with in certain cities, since it is a street spec, but preferably go to the highway and just, like a Sunday driver, hang out on the free drive highway and cruise around with. Not a problem. Time attacks, speed trap, maybe, but then you have to use the wall ride thing, so I don't know. Also the Raptor is available in street spec, if I'm not mistaken, so no. Let's forget about the street spec, let's call it that. It's just, it's average and below average on some points. Moving on to the performance spec. if I can find it in the list. There it is. I don't know, it's a bit of a strange look, but it has something, I don't know. Visually it kinda has something. Off we go. Pretty heavy, so it puts the... okay, same situation here. Slow response, big movements. Might be a problem if you need to avoid traffic or dodge traffic. How is this going to end up? Not good, apparently. I was really trying to avoid that car, but not really working, was it? Brakes. Not that good either, seeing we were on low speed after hitting that car. See you in the next corners, but... let's see if this thing can wall ride. Not really. We are losing a bit of time there, as well as speed. So the street spec has decent wall riding capacities, but not this one. The corners. Hey, we have to go there where... yeah, okay. So corners, forget about it. Lots of power in a straight line, and you better keep it in a straight line. Oh my god, yeah. Oversteer, understeer, brakes no good. Boat handling. I thought the street spec was not that good, but this is even worse. Didn't expect that. Probably has a bit more power, and it will go eventually it will go a bit faster, but no, this handles even worse than the street spec, which I not really expected. So you have to go a bit faster than normal in the corners, which makes it a bit of oversteer, and then, well, you kinda can correct that, but those are like half a second losses in every corner. Here again, pretty wide, and then still the corrections make you end up in the barrier. Maybe overall stability might be good on the jumps. We'll see. Also here, I doubt it. Has a bit of a body roll as well. Kinda okay on the small jump. Let's see what the big jump does. Meanwhile we are doing 360. Keeping an eye on the speed as well. Oh, two-wheel action. That's never good. And top speed. 392. Also not that good. 390 is not bad, but top of the bill of the performance specs can do 405, 410 maybe even, or even higher. So you have to, for a decent top speed, you need to get at least 400 on that section. Which might be possible if I wouldn't go on two wheels on that jumps, but yeah, it all matters, doesn't it? The handling, the acceleration, the speed. You need to find a good combination of those three things. Preferably with a bit of decent brakes as well. Can't even come to a standstill using a handbrake. Even still then I'm going through the fence. So what did I say? Forget about the street spec? Well, definitely forget about the performance spec. Might be good on a highway on a straight line, I don't know, but if you have to do summit events, time attacks, those things usually have corners, and then you have a problem with this one. So moving on to the circuit spec. Well, without testing that, I can already say now, after driving the street and the performance spec, this thing can't be worse. Hello, do I know you? Not really. Okay. It's one of those things that happens. Video bombers. So yeah, this gotta be the best one, I mean, really. Can't be worse than the street and the performance spec. But we'll see. It has a pretty good acceleration, seeing the best circuit spec in a car. It's 22.8, this one does 23.2. It's half a second slower, but there are others going way slower, so acceleration is more than okay. The response seems to be fine as well. Shorter steering movements, which is always a good thing to avoid traffic. Yeah, response is kind of okay. Brakes. That was okay. Okay, let's throw this a bit around. I think you can throw this a bit around. Bit of oversteer, that's not a problem. seen it to sort of put your nose in the right direction at least, better than understeer where you would have hit that barrier. But we'll see. Next corner. Bit sideways action again. Okay. Surprisingly, after testing the street and performance spec, that's a bit exaggeration driving, but yeah, kind of surprised by this car. In a positive way, I must say. This is not the super lot, of course, but well, after driving that street and performance spec, I expected everything to be way worse than it is. The brakes are probably also not top, but they are at least better than in street and performance. The handling in general, well, a bit tricky, let's call it that. But a big improvement compared to street and performance again. It does have some sort of body kit, which might be a bit of a problem on the jumps. Kinda okay, seeing I had to avoid a car there last second. Bit of two-wheel action, not that bad. What are we doing? 400, and then we hit the car. Not super top speed, I think. With this is a circuit spec, should be 420. Although we hit the car and the jump was not that good, so it might get to 410 something. On the longer straights, probably even better. Seeing this thing has only 3 specs, this is definitely going to be the best use. As I call it in the descriptions of the video, where you can use it, I don't know, in certain speed traps or time attacks, it might be usable. Are you going to beat the better circuit specs with it? Probably not. But you might be not that far off. I don't know. I guess I have to really time attack on some of the tracks. I might do that after this series. Come up with some certain tracks and throw all the circuit specs, all the performance specs, all the street specs over certain tracks and sort of get to a good ranking. I have ranking videos on my channel, but yeah, already got some comments on that I wasn't really attacking with some of the cars, and that and this car was too high in the ranking and this car was. That's a matter of opinions, and they always differ, don't they? The Impala, it's not that good, below average in street. It's average in performance at let's say below average as well. The street spec, well, it's a bit tricky handling, but other than that it's kinda decent. It is definitely average, and maybe even above average. It's not that bad, let's call it that. You might lose out to the better circuit specs, but it's definitely the best use for this car, since the other 2 specs are really no good. I will see you guys in the next one, and bye for now.